Why am I not doing the other side? And why is this fan here? It is dirty. Whew. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to sneak around. Welcome back to Welker Farms, everyone. It's cold outside. It's like 18 degrees Fahrenheit and dropping, and all week doesn't look very warm. So I guess it's gonna be inside shop work for a little while, especially when Leg Arms returns. When he is found, we will wrap that up, which I'm hoping to do real soon here. It's really close. It needs wrapped up and we're gonna do it. But today I'm gonna go and do some more things that I've been meaning to do. I didn't do in the last video. One is the grain vac. You can see we got some tubing here. We gotta make some new tubes for that thing. They're getting wore out. My dad's been working on these. And the vac itself has a couple issues. So it's cold. I'm gonna see if that old JD 4520 will start. Usually it will with a little bit of ether in the cold. It's amazing. That thing is just old, but it keeps kicking. So if I can get that warmed up enough to kind of limp it over here, get it in the shop, then it'll start warming up. Then I can work on it this afternoon. I still wanna fix that lift there and make a bracket to tie it into the ceiling. So that way it's just a little more secure and we're lifting heavy vehicles. If someone makes the mistake of not balancing the vehicle correctly on that 2-post car lift, and then some other stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. So if you wanna watch me do a little bit of work, that's great, because that's what I'm doing. And the beard is still coming in. Not too bad. It's feeling better now. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to keep this thing. I'm not really a beard guy, so like I said, when Leg Arms returns, this might go. Because he's the beard guy, I'm not. I'm just filling in for him for the time being. It's be a little nicer, it's warmer. Here's the old girl. Battery's hooked up. I didn't put avgas in this thing if you guys are wondering. No, it doesn't like it. Cracked the window open just a hair. We got a little teeny hole in the intake snorkel spout that we made that I kind of wish we did, and I'll talk about that later. And you can spray a little ether in there when you go crank this thing. We'll see if we can start this. Not enough juice. I am surprised. This thing usually has enough to start, but I gotta get the pickup. So let's get a pickup started with jumper cables hook onto this thing to charge it to hopefully get it started. If it were red paint, it would have started. Come to think of it, I wonder if Zach's been around the area. Okay, round 2. Cummins Grand. It's got a Cummins in it. Cummins run in the cold. Let's see if we can get it started. That's the most I've ever seen that poor thing struggle. Wow. It's going though. We gotta do some engine work to it. It needs its rack ran really bad. Take the top of the valve cover off and mess with the valves on it. Maybe get some injector work done. I don't know. We've never really done anything with this engine. We just took it out of the combine and put it in here. So I'll let it warm up a little bit and then I'll lift it over to the shop and then put it in the warm building. When it's cold like this, just let them idle. Slowly shift the gears up, but just let it idle. There's no reason to rev it. Just let it take its time. I hate to even start it today, but I should have had it in the shop a couple days ago, really. So in regards to this vac, what needs to be done is right here, there's a bracket that holds the bearing on the sliding. And when we were vacuuming today, something broke the bolt off. And so the bracket's kind of twisted, which is causing a little bit of a squealing sound. I want to check that bearing, make sure the bearing's good. I think it's fine, but got to take the threads out of this bolt here and then put a new bolt back in it, square it up. I've got a seal for right here. This is between the fan side and whatever this chamber's called. And this seal, there's been a gap there. You can feel the air sucking when you put your hand on it. I usually just wrap tape around it. But anytime you're sucking air in any gap or spot that's not at the end of the nozzle, you're losing capacity on the vac because it's sucking air from the side. So anytime you can tighten up any leaks around, you'll have more vac capacity. So I have a seal, it's somewhere in the shop. I gotta find it, I think it's hanging on the wall somewhere. I've had it for quite a while. And then the tractor, it needs really the rack ram, needs the valve cover taken off. I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now, but I would like to do that sometime. It would help it run a little better, start a little better. The snorkel that we built for this thing, at the time when we dropped this engine in here, this engine was out of a 7700 John Deere combine. The intake manifold and the exhaust manifold were different than the manifolds that were originally on the engine. So what that ended up doing is it didn't square up to where the original airbox was on here. And we thought, you know what, rather than having the airbox under the hood, let's just put it here, take the one off the combine. So we rerouted the plumbing because at the time we didn't really have any intentions of restoring this tractor. We just wanted to make it functional. And so we quickly whipped this together. Well, we didn't have the grain vac when we did this. That's way up in the air now, right in line with the grain vac exhaust. So half the time I look up and the wind changes direction, or we just forget to change it and we're blowing chaff into the intake of this thing, which is not good. So I'm half tempted to take this snorkel off and drop the intake down. We just didn't want it near this tire for dust when you're driving, but we hardly drive this thing down the road because it's usually just running a grain vac. So really the intake needs to be somewhere else. Should just actually suck from inside the cab, but that would help a little bit. There's two bolts that hold that flighting in there. There's two on the other side, the one's broke, and there's two on this side. I'm thinking to get the threads out of that, because I gotta back the threads out. Yeah, the bolt broke off, threads are still in the end. I'm gonna take the bolts out of this side, and then one on that other side. I should be able to slide the whole flighting out the other side, so then I can get the threads out and slide it back in, and then put 4 new bolts in across the whole thing. That ought to work. So there's the bearing holder. I think the bearing's okay. I can throw some grease in and see what it feels like. Here's the threads that need to come out right there. So I'll see if I can grab some vice grips. I might be able to spin those off with vice grips. If I can't, I'll probably have to weld a nut on the back of that and then back it off. We'll try vice grips first. I'm just looking at this bearing. I think it'll be okay. Just thread it right out, perfect. Looking for a bolt. I think this one will work. Perfect, okay. Just need a washer. Let's put it back together. This is an easy fix. Perfect, okay, grease. Always out of grease. I'll put grease in it. I feel like I'm always the one putting grease in these things. Oh, well, there's not even a grease tube in this thing. How did it even get full of grease? I didn't even have grease, someone scoop grease and just stuff grease in it or something?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know how much is in there. Usually there's a little left. It doesn't completely clean them out.
Well, there wasn't even a tube in it.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Somebody must have taken it out, and then there's always a little bit of gob.
Well, yeah. I was just surprised. I was expecting to open it up. I was expecting to find a tube in there.
Yeah.
I think this is all wrapped up. It's all greased. Bearing, I felt fine. Bolts are in. Flighting spins freely. I think we're good there. I'm gonna tackle the seal now, see if I can get that off, figure out how to put it on there without ruining the seal and making a bigger mess. Check the belt tensioner. I'll check the chain down there, make sure it's all greased down there, and just mess with some tubing. We gotta do a little bit of work to this kind of stuff. And Dad's heading to town. He's gonna get some different carriage bolts so we can bolt these flanges on the tubes. I'm gonna check the tractor a little bit, and then this will be good. We'll check this off the list. So when we do sell some grain here, I think we're probably gonna be marketing some grain in the next couple weeks. So we'll definitely be using this machine here quite a bit. Pop a lid and see what we're dealing with here. I've been letting it thaw because it was kind of frozen actually. All good. A little bit dirty in here, a little bit of dust from pulling off the ground. That was a messy job, but these things are awesome. I'll clean up the seal on this rubber, right around the gasket and everything. And then I'm gonna take off the one that goes to this seal here, because that's the one that's giving us the leakage. Let's fix it. Looking at this, I think it's just glued on there. When I looked at the package, I thought I saw a little adhesive strip and peel off. So I'm guessing it's just got adhesive, so I can just, there's no rivets or anything holding on. So I'll just peel that off. Rubber's rotten, I can just break with my hands. If you wonder why there's always belts hanging here, these are extra belts. We had a couple break a while back, like literally when we first bought this thing. So we put all new belts on it, and it's kind of a pain to get belts on it because you have to take this bearing holder off, lift the driveline up, slip some around. So we just left them, wired them up, left them in here, the original ones that weren't broke, as spares basically. So when these go out, we'll just flip one of those and put it on there. But these ones have been holding up. So I guess we'll just leave them there. Well, that's a joke. I know the metal's cold, but that adhesive, that doesn't stick very good. I'll try warming it up, try it a second time, but maybe that'll help. It's a very similar adhesive compound to like what you'd use for fender flares on like a pickup or visors or stuff. It's kind of that putty glue stuff, and I think it was too cold. The metal was cold, the rubber was cold. Heat gun got it nice and warm, and then I applied a lot of pressure, pinching it around. It sealed pretty good. So we're good. I'm excited. That's awesome. Now that that's all tied up, I'm gonna do something a little different that Brent really hadn't planned on. One of the issues we had a lot with a lot of our bins is the height of this spout right here is either too low or too high. So ones that happen a lot of times is when we butt the bin door with this adapter here, the angle is so aggressive to get the tube, the short tube, because you want the bin as close to the back as you can get. The shorter the distance is from where it's pulling from, the more volume you're gonna get. But that tube usually does a weird curl way up, curl way down, and then try to meet into here. And what happens with that is it hurts the flex in the tube, and eventually you wear the tube out. What I've been wanting to do for ages is build an adapter that's like a 30 degree, 45 degree, just somewhat of a little elbow that goes in just to change the angle, so that way it's a natural curve for the flex tube so you don't damage it like we do all the time. I do have to come up with a clamp somewhere because I'm gonna save this one, so I'll have to find one, but I gotta get some 7-inch tubing to do this. I think we have an auger over at our graveyard called the Quonset, and I believe it's a 7-inch auger. So I'm gonna go take the concrete saw right here, drive over there in the blistery cold, and saw off a chunk of that and bring it over here, and then try to create an elbow by slicing and welding. See if we can get it, but it's gonna be cold, so let's go do it. At least I don't have to worry about starting a fire because there's snow on the ground. Huh, look at that. There's a Torgerson truck here. Just visiting, keeping tabs on us, making sure that we're working. They like us to work, because when we work and we make money, we buy equipment, and we buy equipment, they're happy. No, that's actually not how it works. He's just visiting. Hey, let's go cut a tube off. Man, I'm not used to that temperature yet. All right, let's see if we can find this tube. Gotta grab my tape measure. Somewhere here, one of these tubes, I think it might be right over there, we'll check. Hopefully it's a 7-inch and doesn't have flighting in it, and it's a salvaged auger that we've decided to use for this kind of stuff. Where's my measuring tape at? I think it's hiding in here. Pull that, there we go. Perfect. All right, let's go take a look. See if we can find this tube. Okay, well that one right there, that one would work. It's got a flange on the end. I really don't want that on there. I'll cut that off, but obviously that auger's not gonna get used any other place, so it wouldn't be bad if I chopped that one up. But just in case there happens to be another chunk of an auger sitting here that's 7 inches, I'd like to chop that off instead. That's an 8-inch right there. That's not gonna work. I think that might be the candidate. Okay, well, before I freeze to death, let's fire up that demo saw and go to town on that thing. Did someone call for a blizzard? But it's like almost 0 degrees Fahrenheit out here. Well, I sat down in the office looking for some band clamps like that, see who sells something similar to this so I can get one, because I'm gonna need one to make this elbow. And then I ended up on the manufacturer's websites for this guy and a couple other different ones, and they sell elbows that are already made, nice and smooth. I'm sure they're gonna be a lot of money because they don't give those things away. Why don't I just buy one? What am I doing? I mean, I do want some 7-inch tube. I'm glad I cut this off because we usually need a little splice here and there to connect opposite ends together, as well as use them for some other tubing stuff we do. So it's good I got that. I mean, we'll use that, but I'm just gonna order something. I'm just gonna order an elbow that's already made. So, got your hopes up for nothing. And I went and froze my tush out there with the demo saw for no reason. Well, let's move on to the next project. And that next project is these things. Dad's been working on them. He had some things to do, so I'm gonna take over. They rivet these clamps to the flexible tubing. We don't have a rivet that big. So what we're gonna end up doing instead is I'm gonna drill out holes and use these basically carriage bolts, put them up through, run the nuts up tight, grind off the rest of the threads, and that will hold it just as tight as, well, actually better than the rivets. So that's my job now. So let's put these together and get these tubes done, and then I think the vac is good to go. And then I'm gonna mess with that lift. Good, I guess. Well, I'll move on to the next one. I just decided to plasma off all the ends of the threads there. That way it doesn't snag your pants or your hands when you're grabbing this tube. This'll work, it'll work. So we're gonna make one long tube because we always need a longer one. I'm probably gonna just turn this whole thing into one really long vac tube. The only downside with doing that is I don't know how we're gonna fit it on the back of this vac very well. We might just have to kind of like loop it around somewhere, but there's always a time where we need a little bit longer of flex tube. Well, I brought it over. This stuff flexes a lot easier than the other old stuff, which could be two things. One, the other stuff has been rained on and sat outside on and off, and so it's just stiffer because of time and rust and age and not. Or it could be that this stuff's a lot lighter and won't last as long, but we're gonna find out one way or another. It wasn't cheap. I think this is more exhaust flex tubing. It's smooth on the inside, which is what we want, because anytime you have a flex tube, you reduce some of your capacity of your vac. It creates friction, so we don't want that. Turbulence, all that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna make it as long as the whole thing. I think we're gonna find use for it being that long. We always are. So, got the ends right here. Dad kind of worked them back into shape where they should be. Let's pop this inside there and make this work. Done. I'm a little skeptical on this tube. Just handling it, it's pretty light. It's really just exhaust tubing, I think is all it is. It's a lot lighter than, say, this stuff. This stuff is designed, what's it say, Hose Master T-Rex? Yeah, that stuff's expensive. To give you guys a perspective of why we're making our own, besides the fact that those got ruined, last I heard, one of these tubes is like $1,000 for just one, or at least in that ballpark. So you're looking at like $3,000–4,000 in tubes for this thing. That's just insane. So much money, but like look at this dent right here. It's just a lot lighter wall. I'm pretty sure the lifespan is not gonna be anywhere near what those are. There's a reason those cost a lot. Depends how much we use this thing. It's really flexible, which is really awesome because it sure makes for nice management inside the bin. Moving it around, but I'm skeptical. We'll see if it stays together. I'm kind of thinking it's probably gonna open up and have openings in it, and we're gonna have to probably shorten it and get rid of it. But you know what? Maybe it'll surprise us and it'll work great. But it's done. And it's like probably 10 feet long. That's pretty cool. So I'll wind this up, put it around there, and we're done. Still really skeptical about this pipe, this tubing. I'm wondering, I thought we were told when we bought this that guys have used it for suction tubes, but I just got a feeling it might suck air through all these seams. Hopefully not. Only way we'll know is we'll try it. But it's together. I gotta order some more of these since I found a place where I can get them, hopefully. Get some more clamps ordered, get some more ends ordered, get that elbow ordered. And if this doesn't work, we're just gonna have to pony up and buy us a couple of the big tubes for a couple grand, which are expensive, but you just gotta do it. So, all right, the vac is good to go. Now, regarding that thing, originally I thought I would just take a piece of flat iron and weld it to the frame of the shop and weld it to that post up there, but that's really not a great way to do things, especially because there's gonna be some flexing and stuff. It really should be bolted, so I'm thinking instead if I make a bracket to attach it, I probably should drill holes in this as well as the I-beam that runs across the top of the shop to bolt it to, as that way you can always take it apart instead of cutting it if you want to move this post for whatever reason, or if something happens and someone runs into this thing and bends it or whatever, we have to take it down. But I don't know what to do if I want to do 2 or 1. The problem is we got this fan right here that was here before we put this 2-post lift in. It's right on the edge. I could probably put a strap on the corner of it over, and I should probably do 2 on this thing because 2 would probably be a lot safer than 1. though it just needs something just to kind of keep it so it doesn't shake at all. It's really all I want. It's not gonna take much. Let's get the lift and look at it closer. So you watch, I can shake that thing just by hand. If it's gonna be lifting a 10,000 pound vehicle, I think it should be a little more secure than that. This is what we're talking about. That's a solid I-beam that holds up the roof of the shop. It's not going anywhere. So I was thinking, that's pretty thin metal right there. That really doesn't have a whole lot of structure to that. Where it really needs anchored is into this. I see I got 2 bolts on the top of that end and that end over there, and this fan is gonna chop my fingers off if I don't turn it on. I should probably, thinking about it, there's plenty of threads on there, take the nuts off, build a flat iron bracket that comes over, angles up, ties into here somewhere if I don't cut our airline. I also have to lift this up, poke a hole through, put a nut through, bolt it to both sides. I think that's the best way to do it. This is gonna take a little while to get this figured out. Let's get some flat iron. What is some nice flat iron? That's a heavy enough gauge steel. I gotta do some digging here and see if I can pick out something that'll work. I think I found a candidate. This one looks to be heavy enough and there's plenty of it, so I can make 2 pieces, 1 for each side. It'll work good. It's not gonna take much. This is gonna be plenty. All right, let's measure and let's chop some of this up, figure out the bolt holes, drill those out, and then go up there with a drill into that beam, put both of them up there, then get a brush, get some blue paint, make it look nice so Leg Arms isn't upset when he comes back. Is he coming back? I think he is. Drilling against gravity is not easy. You can't put any body weight into it to get that drill bit in there. But I did manage to get them drilled out. I had to use a smaller bit to pre-drill the hole. The way we put this paneling up here to put insulation, when we insulated the ceiling a while back, I just had no room to slip that bolt in from the top, so I had to put it in backwards. And my lock washers are a little oversized. We're out of the size for these bolts, so I had to use those. But that's on and that is secure, and there is no flex at all on that anymore. Awesome. Oh, that's been a lot of years that we've been needing to do this. That is great. I'll feel way better now, way better, when we put a heavy vehicle on there. Because there's been times I've had like the fun ones on there and I was working on the back of it and I was trying to pull down something on the bumper or something, and the whole thing was just like doing this. I'm like, oh, this is gonna rip out of the floor and crush somebody. Maybe they don't, but it just made me nervous, and I thought, you know what? Tired of being nervous, I'm gonna be safe. So I think this will work. Cool. Well, I suppose it's probably about that time to get off my feet because they hurt and get home, see the kids, eat some grub, get ready for Leg Arms to come back, because he's coming back. He's definitely coming back. He had a good time where he's at, but it's time for him to come back, and we're gonna get to work on this girl, finish that thing up. It's happening, don't worry guys, it's happening. And then we have some things to discuss on what our next project is gonna be after this thing's running. There's a couple secrets we have with this girl once she gets going that we're gonna do, hopefully, if the ground's not frozen. After that, we gotta do something fun this winter. There's a few things that are kind of in the works, guys, and it's gonna be completely different than what you expect. I know we've got the Wagner. There's a pickup that we'd like to work on too, kind of a hot rod, pretty cool deal. So we've got options, but there's another one that could very well present itself, and if it does, just expect it to be a little bit different than what you have seen so far on this channel. But that's okay, because it's winter months, and this is the months where we do things that aren't typical. And that's what makes Welker Farms kind of interesting to watch. So guys, thanks for watching. I'm in Quickie. This is Quickie, our wheelchair. Yes, we've got a wheelchair. It's fun to ride around in. I am going to sign off here and go do what I need to do. So thanks for watching. God bless. Take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Coming soon. Later.